do gather from sources, and several of them that I have spoken to, that Bandhan Bank is in talks with HDFC Limited to buy out Gruh Finance. Now, I also gather that the construct of the deal could be of merger of Gruh Finance into Bandhan Bank.
HDFC-owned Gruh Finance is now part of the Bandhan family. Nisha Podar, who first broke that story on the 21st of December, joins us now with the latest.
Yet another consolidation in the financial services space, and in Deepak Parekh's words, the consolidation in this sector has just about begun.
The synergies between Gruh and Bandhan are much, much greater than the synergies between HDFC and Gruh.
Will you have the capacity and the appetite to do another acquisition or merger in a short span of time?
If it isn't good, things have been come on that. This is not taken more time if you have a good team.
Bandhan Bank acquires Gruh Finance. That's the big deal this week, and you heard it first right here on CNBC TV 18. So clearly, 2019 has begun with a big bank deal, and on the show today, we will have Deepak Parekh, Keki Mistry from HDFC Limited, and CS Ghosh of Bandhan Bank. But first, all about the deal. Bandhan Bank to take control of Gruh Finance by way of a merger. It will create a large rural and semi-urban lending franchise with a market cap of over $10 billion. Now, through a swap ratio of 568 shares of Bandhan Bank for every 1,000 shares of Gruh Finance, remember, this will reduce Bandhan's promoter stake holding to 61% from over 82% currently. Now, it is still in violation of the RBI's rule to reduce stake to 40% as of August 2018, remember. So the deal rationale is quite clear. It's simple. Bandhan gets closer to meeting the RBI's guidelines on promoter stake holding in the bank. Now, another company in the deal playing a very, very prominent role is HDFC Limited, which owns 58% stake in Gruh Finance and will get 15% in the merged company as per the swap ratio which has been decided. Now, for HDFC, two aspects to remember are this deal makes its stake in Gruh easier to monetize. That's what most of the analysts and the investors like. Now, the company will be applying to the RBI for getting an approval above 5% stake in a bank. Up to 10% you need an approval and a special permission to keep it at 15% stake. So that needs to be watched out. Now, as far as valuations go, valuations for Bandhan Bank is really considered on the higher side by most of the analysts, as Gruh Finance is valued about 13 times price to book, and that is clearly double of what Bandhan Bank is trading at. And the deal is, remember, struck at a 2% premium to Gruh's 6-month trading average price at that time. So expensive, but a complementary proposition when it comes to Bandhan Bank through this particular merger. Let's talk about what really comes on the table with Gruh Finance for Bandhan Bank. Synergies include Bandhan getting housing finance business to really diversify and also help address the concentration risk for the bank. Cross-leveraging of platforms will really help both the companies in this particular case. And if RBI, remember, allows converting Gruh's 200 branches into bank branches for Bandhan Bank, it will bring in a very big boost for the bank. For Gruh, it will clearly be a better, cheaper, as well as a stable mode of credit if it really joins hands and is housed in a bank like a Bandhan Bank. But the downside is that the ROE dilution that may happen due to the SLR as well as the CRR needs because of the merger. Also remember that there is limited OPEX synergies, and that is due to the limited network overlap the two companies have. So these are the important aspects to watch out for, but clearly integration as well as management continuity of the housing finance business of Gruh Finance, even after it gets housed in Bandhan Bank, will be extremely important. Now, both the stocks, they tumbled post the announcement of this transaction. Remember, Gruh is languishing below 250 rupees a share, which was, remember, above 300 rupees levels before the deal announcement happened. And even Bandhan Bank has come under pressure, trading around 450 rupees levels, which was comfortably above 500 earlier. Bandhan has also lost out post the earnings due to high provision on account of IL&FS exposure. So that was all about this transaction. Now, I did speak to the managements of both the sides, and first let's take it straight across to Mr. C.S. Ghosh of Bandhan Bank, and I quizzed him on all the aspects of this transaction, and in particular, how is he going to really reduce the additional 20% stake of the promoters. Now, you're still short of 20%, Mr. Ghosh. When it comes to the merger, you will reach about 61% in your promoter shareholding for Bandhan Bank from about 82%, and you need to reach about 40%. What is your roadmap for that, and how soon are you going to implement that?
No, if you see that the stake of the NOFH is 82%, it will become to 40%, and out of that, 42% should be like to reduce and come to 40%. So in this the transaction, it will be helped on that to reduce the 21%.
Right.
That means half of that dilution has come.
Yes.
So we have a good plan, constructive plan on that, but we need also the very good types of opportunities. We cannot be immediately like to do it on that. So we are working on that very constructively, and we are making the good strategy how quick we are like to compliance to 40% of that.
So a quick question on the strategy. You said you will look at good opportunities. You may get more inorganic opportunities to comply with the RBI's guidelines. Would you be looking out for those? And what are these areas of expansion and diversification that you're keenly looking at?
We are also mentioned in the earlier to all of you on that. There is this is in different types of option is there. Option is to this, offer to sell, and many others on that. So it is not in the one option we are strategically decided on. So that one option we have been now taken, and some other options step by step will be like to go. But to not say that everything will be like to merger, not like that. We are trying to diversify in a different way.
So good you mentioned that, Mr. Ghosh, because merger or any sort of acquisition takes a lot of management time, energy, and integration also takes a lot of time. So will you have the capacity and the appetite to do another acquisition or merger in a short span of time just because you have the RBI guideline to meet?
Now, if you see that this merger happened very short time, no merger. If it isn't good things have been come on that, this is not taken more time. If you have the good team, so Bandhan have the good team, which they are very much working in that way. It will be not a very big problem for us on that.
Tell us how the new company will look like as far as the housing finance business is concerned. Will you be collapsing all the housing finance businesses under Mr. Choksey then?
No, if you see that as a new bank, our very less penetration of less footprint of the affordable housing or housing credit on that. So when the operationally will be like to decide on that, how it can be good for this, accordingly will be like to merge on that.
Right, but you're not giving me details on the management. Like,
No.
what will be the role of Mr. Choksey in the new company, merged entity?
No, he will become as an head of that the entity, and will be executive director post, and according to other some approval is required. According to approval, he will become on that. But it will be give that position where he is now heading on that. So I feel as of now I can be say only this point on that.
All right, what are the kind of synergies and the benefits that this merger brings to the table for Bandhan Bank?
This is a big business opportunities. No, geographically concentration will be like to diversify. Secured, unsecured loan will be like to diversify, and both the resource persons and both the geography can be work each other areas. That will be the big opportunities for Bandhan Bank to future growth on this.
Which are the other areas of growth opportunities and new businesses that Bandhan Bank is eyeing now, Mr. Ghosh?
No, we are already started on that. I would not like to much more talk about it because this is in one. You said that the MSME is a big market now. No, this is in growing opportunities is more. No, so that is the one. The new customer are going to credit bureau who checked. It's a huge year-on-year basis. So they are extending their credit and retain of this the credit flow from the banking industry 60%. So there's a big opportunities is there. But the ticket size, we saw that the below the 5 crores or below the 1 crores, below the 50 lakhs, these are more opportunities of the growth in future MSME. So where Bandhan is from beginning as a bank, strategically decided microfinance, MSME and affordable housing. We are one by one going to grow on that. Thank you.
All right, just one more question. The timeline for this merger, how much time are you giving for getting all the approvals?
You know that we are on the way on that after complete this today. That tomorrow will be start the process on that. Our team is working together on that as early as possible. Whatever the need, the regulators, the demand of the papers will provide, and they will be come to back on that. So I cannot give the timeline on that. But normally we saw that any of the merger that is 9 months to 12 months they are taking on that.
Just one more question, which your shareholders will ask, Mr. Ghosh, and probably the stock will also be reacting and has already been reacting on, is the valuation at which you have acquired Gruh Finance. Now, is that an expensive proposition for you? How will you defend this particular criticism?
You see that the shareholder also like to see that there is an opportunities, business growth. When the growth will come, automatically business and the shareholder, every people will be happy. Bandhan have the 51% year-on-year advance growth. Deposit growth 30% year-on-year. No, so Bandhan is the last 3 years showing that the path in here. So if you get the Gruh, they are also to 23% growth year-on-year. When this 2 March will come, the growth will become on that level. So I hope that they will be happy on that, and their objective also fulfill on this.
All right, so that's the word coming in from Bandhan Bank, the acquirer. But stay tuned to Big Deal. On the other side, we'll get you a chat from Deepak Parekh, who's extremely upbeat on the low-cost housing finance business. Discussing the mega merger of Bandhan Bank and Gruh Finance. And let's take it straight across to Deepak Parekh. And I quizzed him on various aspects, starting from his views on the low-cost housing finance business, which HDFC Limited in a way is shedding as part of Gruh Finance, and on the other hand, what are the various nitty-gritties of this particular transaction? Here out.
No, I am very optimistic on housing finance because everyone wants a home, and government had made it easier by giving incentives. Government has made it easier to developers build small homes, and you don't pay any tax on gains, on profits. Which industry in India, which major industry is tax-free? Now, the reason the government has done it obviously is to build more, incentivize developers to build smaller homes rather than larger homes. And we see a shift, even the big builders. In the last 2 years, we've seen the process takes time because you have to identify land, prepare plans, get different approvals. Approvals take a long time. So I expect in the next 3 to 5 years, there'll be a massive boom in affordable homes, homes 25 to 50 lakhs, below 50 lakhs. Across the country, we see big boys who only built big houses are now like Godrej, like Mahindra. They're all trying to do smaller homes now because who wants to? If you can save tax, why not?
Right. So totally, and that's brings me to the next question, which is HDFC Limited is the parent of Gruh Finance. So why let go of a company? A merger could have also happened where you could have got such a large book.
But you heard earlier, the synergies between Gruh and Bandhan are much, much greater than the synergies between HDFC and Gruh. We both are concentrated in Western India. We have branches close to each other, and our average loans are coming down because of the government incentives. Earlier there was a gap. Now we are competing with Gruh. You cannot compete with a subsidiary of yours where you have 58%. There is conflict of interest, and here we are very weak in Eastern India. Bandhan is very weak in Western India. It's a synergy that helps. And therefore, we thought it is better instead of merging with us. These synergies are not there if we merge with us.
So what are the grand plans of HDFC Limited being in the low-cost housing finance space, and how...
As I mentioned, 2 successive years, we've got the first prize for the largest number of loans given to EWS and LIG from the government. So we are expanding aggressively in that on that portfolio. And we are doing that, and even in MIG we got the second prize 2 successive years. And so it is our objective to increase our affordable loan portfolio.
Right. And what is also the reasoning behind holding on to 15%, or at least making an attempt in holding on 15%?
When we say it's not a strategic investment, it's a financial investment. When we see an opportunity, we will offload some of it, but we don't want to offload it immediately if we can hold on to it for some time. So we'll have to talk to Reserve Bank and see what their view is.
Right. And going forward, in terms of synergies between Bandhan and Gruh Finance, how do you see the synergies really stacking up, and for Gruh Finance in terms of access of funds and also geographical expansion?
No, I think it's a great match. It's a great marriage if we get all the approvals, because one is strong in East, one is strong in West. One is not doing housing, one is doing affordable housing. One has bank, so it has funds like CASA funds, as you heard Mr. Ghosh say. They have 38% CASA funds, current and savings, where the rate of interest cost is very low. Gruh has no CASA. So there are complementarities between them, which merging HDFC, we don't have CASA, they don't have, Gruh doesn't have CASA. So cost of funds become much easier for Gruh being a bank.
And you think that Mr. Sudhin Choksi will remain as the head of the housing finance business? I
think so. The expertise, Bandhan doesn't have the expertise, as Mr. Ghosh himself said. So he will obviously keep Sudhin Choksi as the CEO or as the CEO of the housing side.
And one question on the consolidation. Now, Mr. Parekh, we have seen so many consolidation attempts happening in the financial services space in the last couple of years, and some have materialized in terms of Indocent Bharat as well as IDFC and Capital First, and now this is a big merger as well. Do you see consolidation continue, and is it going to be in NBFC space next?
This is the beginning of consolidation. You forgot HDFC Ergo buying L&T non-life. We did that also. So consolidation will happen because there are far too many players in different sectors, and everyone is not doing as well. So consolidation is the future in financial services.
Given the NBFC situation right now, will that...
Not necessary because of that, but it makes more sense to have size and scale.
So the important question to ask would be whether or not the Reserve Bank of India will give that special permission to HDFC Limited to hold on to 15% stake in the merged entity Bandhan Bank as well as Gruh Finance. With that, we'll slip into a short breather, but on the other side, we'll also ponder over HDFC Limited's plans on the low-cost housing finance business after selling Gruh Finance, and we'll have Keki Mistry with us. Bandhan Bank and Gruh Finance. Now, I spoke to Keki Mistry on the various aspects of the transaction, not just that. What does the investment in Gruh Finance, that is by way of stake in Bandhan Bank and Gruh Finance merged entity, mean for HDFC Limited? And on the other hand, what is the strategy going forward for HDFC Limited in terms of organically improving and developing the low-cost housing finance business, which, remember, is already at 38% of its books by way of volumes and 18% by way of value.
We looked at various options. One option, of course, was merging with HDFC, and another option was look at some kind of growth for Gruh outside of HDFC. And after evaluating various options, we found that a merger with Bandhan probably makes more sense for a shareholder or a stakeholder in Gruh than anything else. Coming first to why it makes sense from a Gruh shareholder's perspective, this will create a very large lending platform for rural and semi-urban parts of the country, a very large lending platform. Today, Bandhan does not do housing loans and Gruh does not do microfinance lending. So by creating a combination between the two, you will create, one, you will improve from a Gruh shareholder's perspective, you will reduce the cost of funding because as a bank, Gruh will now have access to lower cost funding, which is typically what a bank would have compared to someone like a Gruh. Secondly, it will benefit from a very large distribution platform of Bandhan, which has so many branches all over. And because it has so many branches, it can sell its products through so many locations. Bandhan will benefit from the fact that Gruh has, over the years, created such a strong platform for housing loans. Very strong operating systems, legal systems, technical systems, basically strong systems in housing loans. So Bandhan benefits from that, and Bandhan also benefits from Gruh's very large penetration in Western India. Now coming to HDFC, HDFC has itself a very large presence in Western India. We have a very strong lending platform ourselves. We have very strong operating systems, lending systems, credit systems, legal systems, technical systems. So a merger with Gruh will not have added any synergy in that sense, because we already had those systems. Secondly, HDFC's balance sheet is very large. We have a 3,70,000 crore balance sheet as of September. Gruh has a much smaller balance sheet, 18 or less than 20,000 crores. So it would not have made any significant impact to Gruh, to HDFC's overall size. What we disburse in a month, and compared to what Gruh disburses, Gruh would be disbursing 5%, roughly about 5% of what we do. So in that sense, it would not have made a material difference for HDFC. And from Gruh's standpoint, there was no synergy that they would get from the merger, and therefore the merger with Bandhan made a lot of sense.
So for HDFC Limited, what is the strategy with that 15% stake that you will get in the combined entity of Bandhan Bank after merging Gruh Finance?
See, I can't comment on that because it all depends on what regulatory approvals we get. We will talk to the regulators and only then be in a position to know how much the regulators have approved. So I can't comment on that.
Okay, in case the regulators do approve of 15, will you be opportunistic in that financial investment and redeploy that fund at the right time for your own low-cost housing finance business?
See, you have to understand that money is different from capital. When the merger with with Gruh's merger with Bandhan happens, from an accounting standpoint, from an Ind AS standpoint, my understanding is that the investment will get revalued based on the Bandhan share price, and therefore the capital will go up straight away. If the capital goes up straight away, irrespective of whether you raise the funds or you get liquidity or not, the fact that capital goes up and therefore capital adequacy goes up means your ability to lend money will increase significantly because you can gear off that large capital base and provide loans.
All right, so you're not saying that this is the amount that you want to exit immediately?
No, we are not saying anything like that.
All right, so your plans at HDFC Limited in this segment?
It's all dependent on regulatory approval. We'll have to wait and see what regulatory approval we get and then take
Mr. Mistry, a lot of people in the market are also reading this step as a step closer to an eventual merger of HDFC Bank and HDFC.
That's not correct at all. It's not. We have had no discussions with HDFC Bank on a merger in recent times, so it's futile discussion. It's completely futile.
All right, so that's the word coming in from Keki Mistry. So you heard all the three sides. You heard HDFC Limited talk about the transaction as well as Bandhan Bank. Now, the big questions and the big takeaways. First, how will Bandhan Bank reduce another 20% stake of promoter shareholding to meet the RBI requirement post this transaction? Because another acquisition at such a short notice is extremely difficult in terms of the management time and energy. So we'll have to see that bit. Whether or not the Reserve Bank of India gives approval to HDFC Limited to hold about 15% stake going forward in the merged entity of Bandhan Bank, which will acquire Gruh Finance. So that will be very, very important. And on the other hand, also remember the big takeaway for the deal street coming in from Deepak Parekh is that this is just the beginning of the consolidation phase in the financial services sector. All right, on that note, I leave it on a big deal. It's a wrap on the show. Thank you so much for joining us, and keep it with CNBC TV 18.